USS Abraham Lincoln moves away from the Pacific, for every hour and every day that it continues moving, it has a strain on the economy because it takes a lot of funds for an entire strike group to be moving around the world. So I want to know from Norman, as I await my guest appearance in the studio, that given this background of history, given the background of what we have seen over the last 1 year, the tensions between Iran and the US, how do you see the situation? Who's going to be a potential winner? Because we've seen Saudi Arabia coming out and saying we will not utilize our land and air or land and sea for any kind of hostility with Iran. So even the region is starting to turn its face towards Iran and not in favor of the US, especially after the US having 22 military establishments of its own in the Middle East. More from Norman.
Yes, it's apparent. We're looking basically conflict in the region. So any type of military, commercial trade disruption has an effect on the entire region. So Saudi Arabia, UAE, Yemen, all the countries around there have a vested interest in the outcome of this situation. Uh, Iran is situated in a situation where they control the oil flow. They got they have waterways. They have impact and influence in all these countries. So if the United States decide to uh, invade, attack, or do something towards the fragile environment in Iran, there will be repercussions regionally. The countries already know. There have been conversation underground, backdoor conversation. If the U.S. does this, we're going to do that, and then you're not going to like it. So it's very important that these things look after itself. Trust me, Saudi Arabia and other countries there, they're talking to the United States, advising them that we do not want any more issues in our region. You are not here. We have to live here. We have to live with Iran based on your outcome. You can do what you need and go back home, and you have the protection of distance. We do not. And Iran has the ability to cause real problems, disruption, and vast damage to the region, the infrastructure. So it's important that these talks prevail something that doesn't result in a military action against Iran. The issue is that the United States has a plan. They have an operational plan waiting to go. Iran is also has a plan to counter once this thing happens. So it's not going to be wait and see how bad you hit me. Once you initiate it, they're going to initiate it too. There'll be a countermeasure. And the countermeasure is going to affect the people in the region, the countries in the region, and we do not know what level of devastation will happen, but it will be a very destructive response, and it's going to all be blamed on the decision of the United States. And then with things gone, the region and other parts of the world, they question where is the United States going to respond? Are they going to help us, or are they just going to fade back and go on that normal operation and leave the hot mess in their hands to clean up? So there's a lot of conversation going on. Yes, the U.S. is ready to attack. They can attack, but the pressure from the internal region is great, and they do not want any situation where the U.S. starts up and stirs up the hornet's nest and go back home, and they are left with the situation of reputation, trust, and protecting their people. Uh, Iran has the ability to cause a lot of problems for the region and trade, commerce, and artificial intelligence. They have the ability to be very disruptive to the infrastructure, and they are prepared to act. So what you're listening to right now is basically influence, impact from the region on Donald Trump and the administration about please do not do this. We will suffer from this, and we have no idea where it's going, and we can't basically depend on your support. So it's a trust factor, and we're waiting to see. And at the same time, the Trump administration is trying to get its point across, but they have to understand that their neighbors have to be certain and successful. So that's why Saudi Arabia don't want any flight because they don't want to be associated with the response from Iran. And the
Of course.
response from Iran will be very severe.
I also believe that the Iran missile program has developed itself courtesy of the allied nations that have supported Iran over the years in the face of Iran facing off with sanctions from states like United States of America. We know that the Russians, the Chinese, and of course North Koreans, all of these nations are in a nexus against this established world order or a new world order. But I want to focus on another event inside the Middle East, specifically in Dubai, the United Arab Emirates. From the 3rd of February until today, it was being held, the World Governments Summit. Of course, this is the most geopolitically visible summit of this month, and heads of states, prime ministers, ministers, IMF, World Bank leadership, big tech CEOs will all be in attendance, and this serves as a soft power diplomatic hub where quiet side meetings often matter more than speeches. But the key themes of this year include the US-China strategic competition as well as global south financing and debt restructuring. I want to come with Norman Floyd Burns once more because I know that he has history in United Arab Emirates in his professional career as well as his journalistic career. So I want to know, these common themes are often a matter of discussion between key leaders from across the globe. And for the last 2 days, it has been very important to understand where the international order is turning and how AI governance and digital sovereignty and all of these issues are going to play a huge factor, not forgetting the fact that reconstruction of Gaza is also included here. But I seem to believe every now and so that it is better to coexist than to erase one another through means of war, even after war being the most profitable business as we have ascertained in the past. So I want to know the world's government summit, how you felt about it. And there are more summits coming up, for example, the Munich Security Conference in 13th to 15th February. So I want to know these groupings, when all the heads of state, various tech CEOs, various people in very powerful positions, what do they achieve or what is the outcome of their meeting? I want to understand more from Norman.
Yes, these summits. Actually, I'm planning to go over to the region in the next several months for business purposes, and the discussions right now is uh, high tech technology and how, like you say, how we can comfortably coexist. Uh, BRICS, China, and the world is shifting. The discussions are going to be basically focused on how do we enhance trade and commerce? How do we provide an open source market where uh, I can freely trade, I can do work, particularly now approaching the new digital age. We are shifting to a new digital age and how that's going to affect the economy. The shift away from the United States dominance is being discussed. It's not a either or you with the Western world or whatever. It's a combination. I can work with the United States, but also can work with the other emerging economies for the betterment of the world. So the discussions are going to be about how this can be accomplished, and there'll be a lot of conversations, a lot of backdoor deals made that will impact governments, particularly the United States and how we do things. They will have an impact on exactly how the United States will move about because the political and the business world runs everything. The military is a instrument to get the will of certain governments. The United States right now have the advantage of having a very strong and mighty military force, but they have to answer to someone, and who they answer to is the government leaders, and the government leaders answer to the trade and the business leaders of the world. So it's
Accurate.
not a situation I can come in and take over. They can do that, but they have to answer to someone. Someone has to go in and fill the gap. You create a void, there has to be a gap. If you don't fill the gap, it will fill up with something, and the something it fills up with is not to your advantage. So every move has to be a strategic one with placement, planning, and calmness, because if not, the situation will always be worse than it was before. Right now, you have difficulties, but when you have an open country or open region where has no leadership, no guidance, anything and everything is going to happen and is not advantage to the business world. That is nothing that will stop. That will stop everything else. So it's important strategically that these countries start talking about the future, how we're going to coexist, how we're going to work together, regardless of east, west, whatever side. It's a global situation right now. It's a multipolar world. It's a digital world. We have to embrace that. Times are changing, shifting. The dollar is going to have to coexist with whatever digital currency out there. They're going to have to learn. It's not either or. It's happening, it's changing. And
Right.
how we approach that and how businesses approach that will determine our future. The military issue is the Cold War we need to worry about. The Cold War, the soft issues, these are the things that we're going to see what's going on. Technology, infrastructure, critical critical infrastructure protection. These are the things is coming on. We're looking at drones and other artificial issues with the communications and power
Right.
and energy issues. These are the issues we have to look at, how we manage these things. And these things cannot be managed by one sector, the Western, Eastern, Russians, Chinese can't be sector, it cannot be controlled by them. They know that. So we have to find a way, even though we talk about I'm this, I'm that, in the back door, we know that they have to coexist. We depend on each other.
Of
Even though
course.
we fight and kill each other, we depend on each other. We cannot do it all alone. If so, we wouldn't have a war, we wouldn't have a conflict. The conflict is that how do we exist with what we have and get what we need from you without giving ourselves away?
Mr. Imtiaz, Udin was talking about various issues. I want a statement from Norman Flood Burns. As you were hearing inside the studio regarding various things, but Donald Trump's ego is at play, and how this ego is going to shape this entire year is a huge question. So I want more comments from Norman Flood Burns, especially regarding the U.S. position on all of these strategic fronts, as well as China, not only that, but also in Ukraine and Russia. Norman Flood Burns.
Uh, Thank you again for this time. I have a short period of time, but basically, the Trump administration and our leaders uh, are transactional. They're looking to create global business for the benefits of America. Period. How this is done is creating circumstances in certain countries where they have to basically listen and comply with how the American wants to do things, the American way. Unfortunately, and fortunately, countries are now waking up and saying that, hey, I am my own entity. I can do what I need to do for the best interest of me. I'm not part of the colony process that we're used to. Basically, come under your domain, your kingdom, whatever you want to do. So right now, countries are looking at their options. We mentioned China. Yes, China has never invaded other countries. And if you notice, their statement is that, if you attack us, we're not going to have the first attack, first response, but you will not have a second response. That is their motto. They approach the world as we are the alternative. We're not telling you we want to be the one, but we are the alternative. And with the having being the alternative, you can make the choice who you want to go with, but we think we have a good product and you would like it. So the option is basically choices.